Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Well, good evening and welcome to About the Valley. And of course, Kelly's here with me. We're going to do
Hi.
our senior info this week
Mm-hmm.
because our guest coming in next week is going to be Leslie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I get next week off
You
then?
get next week off.
Oh,
Or
thank
you
you.
can come in if you'd like.
Well, I'll watch.
All right. But
Can I
this
call
week-
in?
Yeah, you can call
Okay,
in.
I'll do that.
Our guest this week is Paul Jones from Consigne, how do you say it?
Care concierge.
Care Concierge
Yes.
in North
I love
Smithfield, Rhode
that.
Island,
Yes.
right near the
Right.
flyover.
Right near the flyover. Yep. Yep.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's impressive now. And
Right.
for a while, it was
Not
impressive.
during.
No,
When they were
no.
building
No.
it.
That was a whole different type of impressive.
Yeah, yeah. But I do travel that way quite a bit, and I have to say it's I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now.
Now.
Yeah.
Now you can get somewhere now.
Yeah.
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 It's
So
rough.
it's been a good thing for that area. So. Yeah.
But anyway,
But we're here to talk about different things.
Yeah. What Paul does is he advises families
Yep.
on how to take care of their elderly.
That's right. So I'm the owner of the Care Concierge Senior Living Advisors. And what we do is we help seniors and their families navigate all the different senior care and living options in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and anywhere else people need help because we are franchising nationwide.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you. It's why I look so well rested and refreshed, you know. So what we do is when families call us and they need some assistance, we'll sit down with those families and talk through what their needs, wants, and desires are. What's your financial reality? What type of diagnoses are you living with? What are some of the amenities which would make you happiest? And using that information, we go back to our partner network. Now, our partner network of properties is about 600 plus properties of places that we've personally vetted to make sure it's the type of place we'd want our own families to live in. We go in, we meet the team, we talk to the nursing director, we see the activities, we see the dining program, all of that. And that's how we create our partner network. So we take that list of about 600 properties, we narrow that down to 3 or 4 properties, and then these are properties that we can go and tour with the families. So we can be their in-the-moment advocate and guide. We can take notes for them. We can make sure they're getting all their information straight. Because if you're touring 2 or 3 properties in a day, it can be really overwhelming. You know, families, they have a lot of their game. They want to go do it, and they tour the properties. I got it, no problem. And then by the end of the day, they go, what state am I in? I don't even know where I am right now. And so we'll make sure we keep everything straight for them so they can make the best possible decision for their loved one. So that's where we start. Our primary function, assisted living memory care placement. But if people need something else, if they need home care, if they need an elder law attorney, if they need an introduction to somebody else who's going to help with their quality of life, we'll do that for them. We want to make sure that you get what you need to assist in your aging journey. That's the concierge concept.
Awesome.
No, I'm thinking too, that even if someone is not ready to go into assisted living, it wouldn't be a bad idea to meet with you so they could line it up that one day it could happen.
Totally. You know,
In a perfect world.
in a perfect world. Well, you know, so many of the families who call me, unfortunately, they call me in a state of crisis. They're
Right.
bedside at a loved one. They've just been told they can't go home. Now what do you do? They've
Yeah.
never considered senior care. They don't know what it is. They've never even heard the word
Yeah,
assisted living.
and now you're on the clock.
Now you're on the clock because the hospital is saying we need a discharge by tomorrow.
Yeah,
And they hand you a list and they go figure it out.
yeah.
And families just can't do that. They can't do that in the best of times. So I always say to families, call anyway. You might not need our services for a year or 2 or never. I don't care. But it's better to be armed with the knowledge now and maybe you never need it than be scrambling and trying to figure it out when you really need to make a decision.
Because when you're in an emergency type situation,
Yeah.
sometimes the decisions are taken out of your control and
Also
you are
true.
put in a situation that you probably didn't want.
Yeah.
So it's in everyone's best interest to really think ahead.
Yeah.
And pre-plan.
You may have heard it said before, you know, families will say, I'm just going to wait for the next crisis. The next time mom falls, that's going to be the time
Right.
that we'll start
Right.
thinking about assisted living. And I beg families, I beg them, please don't do that. Because you never know. That fall could not just be a fall. That could be a broken hip. It could
Yes.
be a broken leg. It could be a brain injury. Make your plans now.
They
You may
could have
never
a
need
stroke.
them. They could have a stroke.
Anything.
Anything can
Yeah.
happen, so try and get as much control over it as you can. And that's why we're here. We want to help you take control over the aging journey as much as you can.
And you know what's best of all? There's no charge.
That's right. That's right. So the Care Concierge, we do not charge for assisted living or memory care placement. The way that we do that is our partner network doubles as a referral network. So these are pre-negotiated referral agreements we've developed with all of our assisted living partners. Being pre-negotiated is really important because we don't ever want our families to feel like we're trying to look at one property over another because they pay you more. Doesn't
Right.
work like that. It's all pre-negotiated and everything is predicated on what's going to be the best property for your loved one.
Right.
Because, we've got a naughty list too. We've got places we don't work with. Because the
Right.
golden chandeliers and the marble countertops, well, that's great. That's really swell. But if you don't have the staffing to back it up, and you don't have that really good quality of service and care, what are you doing?
Right.
It's not what we're looking for as a Care Concierge
Yeah,
partner.
it can be a nice place, but if they don't have a good staff,
Right.
you're not gonna be very happy there.
Right.
Not gonna be very happy. You're not gonna be there very
It
long.
can be as
No.
pretty as it wants to be.
That's
but
right.
It's not pretty care, and the person will be miserable.
That's
Yeah.
right. So I used to be, before I started the Care Concierge 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had more up here, less over here, right? And but before that, I worked as an executive director in assisted living, and I was a memory
Oh.
care director
So
before
you
that.
came from the other side.
I came from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a real expertise in the industry.
Absolutely.
And the concierges on my team who I've brought on board, they are also part of the senior care industry prior to coming into the Care Concierge. So we have a deep understanding of what senior care is and what senior care is when it's done well. And we're fierce advocates for our families because we want to make sure that they're getting the best quality of life and the ability to age in place.
Right.
Yes. and
Excellent.
We were talking on the radio, families are, well, people are getting married later in life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now their parents are older,
That's right.
and they might have young ones.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now they tie up in, well, if you got young ones, you know yourself, Kelly,
Yeah.
you've been through it. You're tied up with those kids and,
Yeah.
because somebody's gotta be there when they come home from school, and you got, doctors and everything you take care of, you're
Right.
taking care of them.
Yeah.
How do you have time to take care of your parents too? You just don't have it.
That's right. The sandwich generation.
Yes.
And it can be a cruel place to be,
Yeah.
because you only have so many hours in the day.
Exactly.
And to try and be now an effective parent, an effective spouse, an effective employee or business owner, and an effective caregiver, there's not a person I know who can do that.
No,
And so it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to pursue options, and it's okay to put your plan in place. But you got to take that first step and do it and start making those calls.
Right.
yeah. And like I said, your service is free,
That's right.
so how can you go wrong?
That's right. That's right.
And have it ready. It just like my wife and I have already arranged for our funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to die.
Right.
That's right.
No one will get out of this world alive.
Right.
No. No. And I've said that's a gift. That's a
Yeah.
gift to your children
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you have already done that.
That
Right.
is
So
smart.
that they don't
It's
have to
very
do
smart.
that. I got a book with all the information that they're going to need.
Good.
Good.
Did you write your obituary?
That's the only thing. I did that one time.
Yeah.
I got in trouble.
I do recommend.
You got in
Oh,
trouble?
you got in trouble.
Yeah.
Why?
When I wrote
Did you
it-
not
I
tell
used
the
to write- I
truth?
used to write a column in a local paper, Norwich Times. And I wrote my own, I wrote about my column about how people were writing their own obituaries, so I decided to write mine. That was quite, and my wife got mad at me.
Oh, whoops.
it's a good exercise, though.
It is.
you know?
Yeah.
Because then you have everything that you want said.
I thought about
You
doing
give
it.
your kids the notes. Just
Yeah.
give them the
I thought about
notes.
Give them,
doing
give them-
it.
Yeah.
give them the bullet points and say, go nuts.
I thought about doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Then
is.
I kind of, I'm getting closer to that time, so it's harder to do.
Well,
It is a gift, though, Harry, because
Yeah.
to create for your family a, a framework of a plan,
Right.
and just even
Well,
have
like I said,
a
we put our house in a trust.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
very smart, very smart to do.
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, you try to take care of things ahead of time.
right.
We got a will, you
Good.
know, I mean, you need to do something, because you don't want to have them fighting after either.
No, and you want to protect your assets as well. And
Yeah.
if you do have to make the decision to move to a different environment, then, things are already kind of protected and in place. And so when a family comes to you, where do you begin? Where do you start?
Usually we'll start with just the basic questions. Where do you want to live? That's the basic question to start with. And a lot of families will have different opinions about how to answer that question. In Rhode Island, people are very, very, very committed to the place where they're already living. So they don't want to move from town to town. In Massachusetts, it's a little more flexible, but people generally want to be close to their family.
Right.
So
Right.
where's that going to be for you? Which town, which geographic location, what's going to be easy for your families to visit, what's going to be easy for you to do X, Y, and Z. Some of the people I help with assisted living placement are still working. So they want to be close to their
Yeah.
job,
Right.
and that's totally fine, because that's a big difference. I think that families, I don't blame them for not having their arms fully around it, because assisted living is pretty new in the scope of senior care. Because families hear senior care and they automatically think nursing home.
Nursing home. Yeah.
And that's not how it is.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not the only thing out there anymore.
No.
Now there's so much more out there for families to take advantage of, and assisted living is much different. It's kind of like living on a cruise ship.
Yes.
You have your own apartment, your own bathroom. You can bring your pet to live with you if you want. You can bring your car. You can have your job. You can come and go as you please. You can have visitors whenever you want. Do whatever you want in assisted living, and that's totally fine. So we start there. Where do you want to live? Do you know the difference between assisted living and nursing homes? Are you scared about anything? Do you have any fears? Let me know what you're scared about so we can talk through that. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel like, I don't know if this is going to work. Talk about it with me.
Right.
Let's talk that through. Once we've crossed that threshold, everything gets a little bit easier, because we've confronted those fears. We've started to break down what these different types of care are. And now we can talk a little bit more about the finer details. Okay, what are the amenities that would make the most sense for you? Do you want a pool? Do you want a place that's got a billiards hall? Is dining most important to you? Do you
Right.
want dining options and restaurants and bistros and all that? Do you want
What's
to
the
be
menu like?
What's the menu
Yeah,
like?
exactly.
Do you want to be close
The
to the
food,
city?
yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
Do you want a 2-bedroom apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment? You want to live in a cottage on site? All these different
Yeah.
options are laid out for people. And then we start talking about, what's your financial reality? What's your health reality? What are your diagnoses you're living with? What type of care do you think you might need?
Yeah.
All these different things. Go ahead.
I don't think a lot of people realize that assisted living isn't all the same.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
No, it's
No.
not.
Assisted livings is
It's not large apartment buildings in all cases.
Mm-mm.
Like you said, you have places where there's cottages
Mm-hmm.
and.
Exactly. Yes.
there are some places that are getting real funny with it, where now they've got like heated pools and rock climbing walls and
Yeah.
boxing gyms and
Sign me up.
right. So the number of families I bring to an assisted living who are like, when can I
Yeah.
check in?
So if mom
What?
and dad doesn't want
right.
this is
Yeah.
what I want.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's actually
Yeah.
some that even have trip plans
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Oh, yeah.
that you can go on and.
Different trips. As you can imagine, I'm sure, the trips to Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun and Twin
Yeah.
Rivers are very popular, but there's a number of different trips that they can go on. I have, especially when you have the properties that are closer to a capital city like Providence or Boston, there are a lot of trips you'll see to museums and to concerts, sports games,
Shopping trips.
Sometimes just shopping trips. Sometimes it's just real basic. Hey, we're gonna go to Target today, which
Yeah.
is actually usually the most popular trip for every assisted living.
I
So,
believe it.
restaurant trips, doctor's appointments, all these different things. So, just breaking down for people what assisted living is opening their eyes to what is out there for senior care options, because a lot of families internalize this guilt that has to do with, My loved one's not going to be so safe at home anymore.
Right.
How are we going to explain that to them? What are they going to feel like when we have this conversation? Will they feel betrayed? Will they feel as though I've let them down? Do I feel like a failure? It is such a relief for so many families when they walk into an assisted living for the first time and they go, okay,
Wow.
yeah, where's the assisted living? And I'm like,
Right.
you're in it. I feel like Willy Wonka. You're in it. Look around.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's creating this sense of, okay, this is going to be okay. So starting there, building from there, we'll go see the properties. We'll go make sure families understand exactly what these places are and are not. You know, they are not nursing homes.
Right.
They are not going to, tie mom down and make her have medication and all this stuff. It's nothing like that. They are going to try and engage with the best possible quality of life that a person wants. And for some people too, mind you, if their quality of life is leave me alone, I'm going to watch all of my shows and I'm going to be on my tablet and just leave me be, that's okay too.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we're a much more online society now. So bingo is not necessarily the big draw that it used to be.
Exactly.
And that's okay. These places are adapting as time goes on too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how often do you hear, wow, I wish I had done this sooner?
Oh, geez.
After they get in there, yes.
I don't know, how much time do we have? I can tell you all those
Right.
stories. And that's true. And I wish I'd done this sooner. I hear a lot of the adult children say to me, Mom's gonna hate you because you're bringing up assisted living. She's gonna hate you, gonna hate your beard, gonna hate everything about you, and she's never gonna go. Or
Right.
Dad's never gonna go. It's usually those residents who wind up like the vice chair of the resident council, because and they're the ones that are saying, I wish somebody talked me into this a long time ago. This is great, because now you don't need to shovel.
The stresses
Right.
of
Right.
managing a home.
Right. If your fridge breaks, you pick up the phone and you say, my fridge broke, and they come and give you a new fridge.
Right.
Yep.
Not so bad,
No, exactly.
And as time goes on and aging happens, if you require care services, those are provided for you in a discreet fashion. Nursing homes can be wonderful, wonderful places for people who need the level of care for nursing homes. But you do lose a little bit of subtlety and discretion in a nursing home.
Yes.
And that is something you
lose
do
your
maintain.
privacy, really.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can lose your privacy. If a call bell is going off in a nursing home, everybody around you knows it's your call bell.
Yeah.
But if you need assistance in an assisted living, you can press a button or pull a tab on your wall or just call from your phone, and somebody's going to come and support you with whatever it is you need.
Right.
Even if it's something you don't want your neighbors to know, that's okay. Nobody needs to know.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
So that's how it starts to work, and families do. They buy, they go, God, I really should have bought into this a long time ago because it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
So
But probably important for a widowed person.
yeah,
'Cause now
well,
you don't have anyone else in the house keeping an
It's
eye on
lonely.
you.
Yeah.
that's right. And loneliness, isolation,
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the most dangerous things confronting any senior. I mean, you must know this for.
We're still battling with it.
Absolutely.
It's improving, but it's when we went past a pandemic,
Yep.
the effects of that. Like I said, we're still kind of dealing with it, but it's definitely turned the corner that we're finding that people are, at least coming out and seeking us out.
Yeah.
And but that's a tough one.
It is, and I think, even now, we all, certainly in my industry, we all kind of sit back in awe at the ripple effects that are still presenting themselves all these years later after the worst of the lockdowns and the
Yes.
pandemic and all of that. There's over 100 different types of identified dementia disorders. One of those dementia disorders is alcohol-based dementia. Typically affects younger men.
Yeah.
Oh,
Younger is a relative term, but we're talking like early 60s is where it usually manifests. Anecdotally, I don't have any evidence to back this up scientifically speaking, but just anecdotally between myself and other people in the industry, we have noticed that since 2020, the instances of alcohol-based dementia has spiked.
really?
Well, the senior centers were closed, but the liquor stores were open.
Yeah,
And some of them deliver.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true, yeah, they do.
So, but even beyond that, people have just drawn in so much that what we're losing so much of is that human interaction, that face-to-face connection. We're seeing a bit of a resurgence now, and that again is anecdotally, that's just what I'm noticing out there in the world. And I have a young daughter, and I'm seeing more sports games pick up now, and play dates and things like that are coming back.
Right.
But for a long time, people were just at home, and they had their tablet or their phone right in front of them like this, and that was their interaction.
Yeah.
And even for people that do have caregivers coming into the home, that can be a wonderful option for them and help them stay in their home. But it gets to a point where you crave that peer-to-peer interaction, where you want to have a conversation with somebody about, hey, remember when that television show came out and we all just gathered around and watched it and we had fun, or watching that movie or that sports game? Were you at that sports game? I was there for that. Having those connections with each
I
other.
think Kelly sees that all the time. You have groups that come in your senior center every day, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
And
just to
it's,
interact.
but it is,
Sure.
it's so important for, as you said, to have that interaction,
Yeah.
to have that contact with another human being. We say that about our Meals on Wheels program. Yes, it's a great program, but sometimes that driver that is coming to deliver their meal is the only person that they see
That's right.
during the day.
That's right.
Yeah,
And how sad
especially
is that?
now,
That's right.
where a lot of kids, siblings, have moved out of the area.
Right.
It's true.
People move all over the country now for jobs.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yep, they
Yeah.
do.
So you may not even have any contact with them,
Right.
other than a
Yeah.
phone call.
That's right.
Yes.
So these assisted livings, senior care writ large, don't get me wrong, but these assisted livings in particular, because that's what I'm most familiar with, something really magical, and I don't use that word lightly, but something really magical can happen, especially if you have somebody who's going to an assisted living near or in the city or town they grew up in.
Yeah,
Because then they walk in, and 9 times out of 10,
There's connections.
there's a connection. They see, oh my God, I went to primary school with
Right,
you.
exactly.
Right.
And
Yes.
people light up.
yep,
And there's something that just changes when you're confronted not with this isolation and not with this it's grim. It's grim when you don't have other people. But when you have other people around, it's good medicine. And that's a big part of what assisted living can provide as well.
But what's nice about the assisted living is, as you had mentioned earlier, you still can just go into your own unit
Yep.
and close the door when you want to have a little bit of privacy.
Yep.
You don't have to be the social butterfly 24/7. You can do as you wish, attend what you want to attend. It's all, it's all about what your needs and wants are.
That's it. Quality of life means different things for different people.
Right.
And when I was an executive director, I had people that we would only see at meal times.
Right.
They'd come
Yeah.
down and they'd wait. They'd wait until like the end of the meal period of when the specials were available. They'd pop down at like 1:30 and they'd go and pick out a table by themselves, and they'd have a book,
Yeah.
and they'd sit down and they'd order their meal, and then if somebody walked over to talk to them, they'd be like, I can't hear you over my book, and that was their joy.
Right.
And that's okay.
fine.
Yeah.
It is, yes, it is
That's
okay.
And then some people, some people were given the activities director a run for their money, and that's great too.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
quality of life means different things for different people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes. But here again, like I say, you really need to have someone like yourself.
Yeah.
Because you
To
can't
navigate.
just walk in
Yes.
cold in these places and say, well, this place looks good.
I mean, you can, but
But you don't know
to
anything
have,
about it.
yeah,
And you walk in, you see the golden chandelier and the marble
right.
countertop, but that doesn't mean it's a great place.
Unfortunately, and look, there are an enormous amount of people in this industry who are good, qualified advocates, and they want to do the best for families as well. There are, just like with any other industry though, there are some people who are going to say whatever it is they need to say
To make the sale.
to make the sale.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's another big reason why we're there, is because there are times, and look, There are some times where it is completely accidental, where somebody says something and they don't realize they've said the wrong thing. Because even though assisted living and memory care buildings are governed by landlord-tenant law, they also are governed by what they can do by regulations of the state they're in to provide certain services and care. Here's an example. For a long time in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, no assisted living was empowered to provide injections. So if somebody, like my own father, diabetic, so if he needed injections, he couldn't go to an assisted living in Massachusetts. Rhode Island, no problem. They can do
Oh.
injections all day. But in Massachusetts, they can provide assistance for people that need to assist for their activities of daily living. So if I was sitting here in my chair and I wasn't able to get up on my own, but you two needed to help me, that could still be qualified in assisted living in Massachusetts, not in Rhode Island. So every state has little idiosyncrasies,
Okay.
yeah. And
Oh,
so
wow.
there were times
So you don't know that on your, the
No.
average person doesn't know
that
that.
you
Yeah,
wouldn't know.
no.
And so there were times where you'd have a sales director who, or somebody covering who was new or didn't know the state regulations well and would just assume, like, yeah, we got a nurse. We got a nurse. We can do injections. Yeah, we can do a 2-person. What are you talking about? We got a nurse here. But they didn't know where the constraints were. So now,
Oopsie.
right.
Yeah.
So now promises are being made. That family goes, oh, magic. Nobody else said they could do this, but you guys can? We're in. So they move their loved ones in, and then 2 days later they go, my loved one can't stay here. I just
Yep.
moved all this furniture in, and my
Yeah.
loved one can't stay here.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example of where we can step in during a tour. If that sales director or that covering person says, yeah, we can do this, no problem. And I have done this, where I've said, hey, time out. Can we just check ourselves
Yes,
on that for a
right.
second? And I've been able to, bring that to a place of reality where,
fantastic, yeah.
where the
Ooh.
team has been, that sales director or that person has been like, I'm in Rhode Island, aren't I? Like, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Welcome to Rhode Island.
Welcome to Rhode Island. Here's your calamari. It's a 1-person assist. So
Oh, yeah.
and that's fine. So that's why, especially for those families who get that call from the social worker at 4:45 on a Friday, hey, we got to discharge mom tomorrow. We're gonna
Yeah.
email you the list, and you got to figure it out by like 10:30 in the morning.
Right.
And we get those calls too. Last year, I got a call Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve,
Oh,
and we found placement for both those families.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't
That
easy.
that
but
includes
we
if
got
it's
there.
gonna be a nursing home?
I'm sorry.
That includes a nursing home?
So for nursing
I
homes,
know you don't, it's not part of your business plan, but,
well, it's just they're governed by different laws.
right.
So we can't do all the same advocacy work in a nursing home environment that we can in the assisted living. We can still, if a family calls us, if somebody calls us and says, I need a nursing home, we're not gonna be like, wrong number, click.
Right.
What we will do is we're gonna give as much information and advice as we can.
Resources.
Yeah. And, this just happened yesterday. A family called me and said, I need help. My loved one's in an assisted living.
Oh, okay.
She's not qualified to be here anymore.
Uh,
What do I do? Can you help me with these nursing homes? I was like,
Right.
I can't go in there with you,
yeah.
but here's what I know about them.
Yes.
Here's what's been reported to me about
Yes.
them. Here's 2, I think you should go,
Check
go
out.
put your mom on the list for them.
Mhm.
Here's 1, put it on the back burner,
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see how
Which is
that pans
what
out.
families want to hear. They don't have the time to go research on their own.
No.
When they have someone that they've worked with, trusted, and they get that information, that's gold for them at that point that they can say, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we don't vanish either after we help a family move into an assisted living.
Right.
And in fact, part of our process, and what I teach my team as well, is that we want to check back with our families periodically. We want to check back that first day after they make a move. We want to check back a week later. Hey, all the fanfare and confetti's all gone. How's
Right.
everything going now?
Exactly.
A month later. All right, how's everything going now?
Right.
And then 6 months later.
Nice.
And we just want to make sure that all the promises that were made during the tour process are still being fulfilled by the operations team. So we keep checking in, and I mean, year over year, 30 to 40% of the referrals we do get are from referrals from past clients that
Oh,
we've had.
okay.
Yeah, well, I take that as a big point of pride. And
Right.
sometimes they're just like, hey, just call Paul for advice.
Yeah,
He'll guide you where you
exactly.
gotta go. That's
Yes.
fine.
So,
Especially if you're well established in the area
Right.
and you know the ins and outs of
Right.
And the good and the bad.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have temporary placement in assisted living. You know, someone
a
might
respite.
break their hip
Yeah.
and they're gonna temporarily need some help.
Respite stays so there's something called a respite stay. Respite stays are a funny animal though, because they're entirely predicated on the availability in the assisted living. When a respite stay is available, it's typically in an apartment that the property will furnish for you.
Yeah,
But most properties require that there has to be a certain time commitment. So it's
Oh.
usually 30 days.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
go in for a respite stay, you usually have to commit for at least 30 days. Some places will do less. I personally think the 30 days is useful because it gives the person now living there as the respite resident time to actually do what they need to do. Are you there to heal? Let's heal. Are you there to participate in physical therapy as a step-down program? Let's get you on physical therapy and make sure you're safe to go home.
Are you here to check it out and see if you like
Yeah.
it?
Are you here to check it out? Not the worst idea.
Right?
And some families
Exactly.
do that.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
You know? And it is funny because I'd say, and again, this is just anecdotally from our experience as care concierges, but 85% to 90% of people who go in for a respite stay will stay permanently.
Oh.
You know?
they get in there and they say, this is not a bad
Yeah,
deal.
exactly.
Well, because they come from this place where they say, this is a nursing home. You can't fool me. You're going to leave. They're going to pull back the curtain. And then they go in and it's like, happy hour is when?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
it goes from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you know, these places have, there's such an evolution of what healthcare is and what senior care is. But that evolution comes with so many details. And it is those details that are super, super important for families to navigate. But again, most of the families, they just don't have the time.
No,
So that's what we're here for, to be their expert.
it's just wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, it's a lot of changes over the years. I remember when I was a kid, you had a lot of times you had the grandparents living in the same house.
Right. It was a different
I did.
environment,
Yep.
for sure.
And you don't have that anymore.
No.
And one reason is both husband
Everybody-
and wife work.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, you know, but here's the thing. You know, my
If it's
grandmother
too
living.
near,
No, do your
terrible
thing.
Yeah,
cold.
Do your
that's
thing.
okay.
My grandmother living with me actually made me that much more in favor of assisted living. Not for me. We had such a gift. You know, our grandmother there. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That was gold.
Right.
But my grandfather had passed.
Yeah.
And it got to a point as my grandmother lived with us for 20 years without my grandfather.
Wow.
And it got to a point, probably in the last 5 years of her life, where you could tell her quality of life
Right.
was really suffering. And she would put on a brave face for all of us. But, you know, you could tell that there were times where she was just deeply in pain because she wanted something else. She wanted something different. She wanted that peer interaction. And actually, you know, my father would occasionally go and volunteer at a nursing home down the street from us. And he'd bring my grandmother.
Yeah.
And then he'd come home and he'd say to me, you know, we should probably just leave Grandma there someday. Because she walks in and she's like, all right, bye. And she would take off and she would talk with the other
Yeah,
women and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now there was no assisted living that she could go to. It was a genuine nursing home. But even in that environment, she
Right.
was
Thriving.
different.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
these
well,
are
you with your peers.
yeah.
The people that
Living
share
with
the
a
same
young
interests.
family, for an older person, that can be a lot.
Yeah.
Listen, I have no doubt that my younger brother and I exhausted that poor woman. I have no doubt. You know, so
She loved you both dearly.
yeah. Oh, adored
Yes,
us.
yes.
But, you know, every
But
now and
it's
again.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, honey, go play in traffic.
Right.
Okay. You know, and that's fine. So it made me at a young age really embrace this idea that, you know, there's certainly something to the family unit aging in place together.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's the only way to go either. And I think the more that families are at least open to having conversations and exploring these different options out there, even if it's only to rule them out,
Sure.
that's okay too. I've worked with families who I've challenged them to say, you know what, go and see this place with me. If you hate it, Good. At least that's an answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they go, and sometimes they do. Sometimes they walk in and they're like, no, you know what? I can't do it. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Now we have an answer. What are we going to do next? And then we figure something else out. The
Yeah.
answer is never, okay, bye, see ya, we're done with you.
Right.
The answer is, what can we do next for your quality of life? What are we going to do to help you age in place where you're the most comfortable? That's the process. That's where we go with it. And that's what success is for us.
Right.
What's going to make you happy?
Mm-hmm.
And not just for the older adult as well, not just for the potential resident or the potential client or anything like that, but for the families too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I've said to many a family, don't forget to put your own, I'm going to look on the cameras now, so if you're
Yeah.
listening, do this. Make sure you put your own oxygen mask on too. Your happiness is just as important as your loved one's happiness.
That's right.
And if you forget that, bad things can happen.
I was going to say, you'll end up being the one looking for a
That's right.
facility or.
I so seldom worry about the physical health and well-being of the potential resident that I'm working with. They're usually so well taken care of and so well and obviously
that's true.
loved. But when I'm sitting across from that adult child, that sandwich generation son or daughter, sitting there with giant bags under their eyes and frazzled hair, they haven't slept in a week, they haven't eaten a full meal in a couple
Right.
of days. They're trying to be all of those perfect things they can
Get
be.
the balance, and it's not there.
Those are the people I worry about.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many caregivers I've worked with who are stroke survivors,
Yeah.
and they've built that stress into themselves by no fault of their own. They're just trying to do the best they can.
What they think is the right thing.
That's right.
Which isn't necessarily
That's right.
the case. So
That's right.
for them to seek you out is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it's not me, folks, there's other resources out there. You know, do yourself a favor. Just look. And if I'm not the right fit too, that's okay. I'll help you find the right fit. It's
Right.
okay. There's help out there.
Yes. But care managers, case managers, a program like yours, someone that's going to guide the ship.
Yeah.
You need that because doing it alone is a lot and overwhelming,
Yeah.
and you could miss out on some great opportunities, or even going to the wrong place too. So
I've had residents, I've worked with families who have fallen in love in assisted living, who have welcomed new pets into their family as an assisted living resident,
yeah.
who have created wonderful friendships, or who have run into friends they hadn't seen in decades. I've seen veterans who served in the same unit come together in the same
yeah.
assisted living after 40 years,
That's special
haven't
too.
not seen each other. I mean, there's so much, you know, it's right, it's hard. You know, like, the world is hard right now, but there's so much good in the world too. If we can open ourselves up to it and see what's out there, it's really, I've seen some wonderful things.
Is there assistance for veterans? Is there VA assistance?
So there's a very good question. So-
Great question.
Yeah, so there's a program out there called the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program. It's an income qualified program, and there are other specific parameters revolving around the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program. The parameters include qualifications like has the veteran served in an active war theater? Were they honorably discharged? Things like that. You need to have a DD 214 to submit. And there are different payouts per month to help support senior care, depending if you're the veteran themselves, the surviving spouse of the veteran,
Oh,
or
Yes.
the married couple together.
Yes.
wow,
Isn't that nice?
yeah.
And it's pretty substantial, the money. So, you know, it's always worth it to explore different programs like that. You know, if you're a veteran and you've served,
Here again, that's where you would come in. How, the average person doesn't know that.
Doesn't know that. Yeah.
there are programs out there that can at least attempt to defray some of the costs of senior care. You know, but after the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program, there's the program for all-inclusive care for the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
There's low-income tax credit programs that are out there. There's something called the Group Adult Foster Care
Oh, right.
Program.
Mhm.
And some assisted living buildings, if they're nonprofit organizations, they may have endowment programs that they can apply to people if they've run out of money to help
So they
extend
can
their
stay.
stay.
Okay.
Mhm. And then some buildings just work with straight Medicaid, and they reserve a certain percentage of their beds for Medicaid,
Oh, okay.
and they only offer those programs typically to internal residents for the
Right.
wait list. So you'll be on the wait list for that for 2 or 3 years paying
Mhm.
privately, but then you're on Medicaid
At least
and
you know you're
assisted
not
living.
gonna get kicked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing we do too, is we'll help make sure that if something like that pops up, we're making sure that that makes its way in writing into your residency contract.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there have been some times where, we've been on the tour, oh yeah, we'll take care of that. Well, you're in, you're good. No.
And then the money
Right.
runs out and now, oh, you're out
And
of
then
here.
you're not good,
Right.
and then you're looking, and then you're,
Yeah. Excuse
back
me,
at
I've
square one.
got a little
Yeah.
allergies or cold, I'm not sure which yet, but
I got the cold.
Yeah.
I think it's the spring flowers behind
Yeah.
us. I don't know.
God, that's such a tease with 2 feet of snow on the
It
ground.
looks beautiful though.
It
No, I
does.
think it's perfect.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do.
It's a promise.
So, is that of one of the buildings that you have worked with, or?
It's not, but
Oh,
No, we
okay.
get that online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's
But-
so
Well, it looks like
lovely.
an assisted living.
but it is.
I think I'll stay here.
It actually, we did look up assisted living, and that's the picture we chose. And
Oh,
that is
yeah.
typically what you'll see. Most assisted livings have, well, there's a variety of different blueprints that they follow, but most of them will fall into a couple of different categories of how they're laid out. One category is quite like that, where it's the the apartment building style.
Multi-story,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where and in that building you'll see fitness centers and patios available and balconies and all those different things, little parks to walk around and all of that. And then you have smaller assisted livings where maybe they are more even micro assisted livings where they just are little homes, and it's 2 or 3 people to a
cottages.
home. Yeah, little cottages. So, there's a number of different ways that assisted living can develop. It's really exciting to see how the industry grows.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a fairly young industry, isn't it?
It is. So,
Like 40, 50 years maybe?
if that, well, the history of assisted living is fascinating, and I sometimes we'll go around to different senior centers and other places, to talk about the history of assisted living, and in a nutshell, it follows from the creation of nursing homes. Now, nursing homes, forgive me in advance, people may be shutting off the TV right now, like, all right, that's enough. But nursing homes came about largely as a result of Medicare being
Yeah.
developed. And as that was developed, a lot of the original nursing homes came from the best available buildings that they could draw from, which were sanatoriums, which feeds a lot of the stigma that you see today about nursing homes. Now, as there was backlash developing about how nursing homes, sanatorium-based nursing homes, were looking and feeling and frankly treating residents, but they wanted that Medicare funding. As that backlash was growing, there developed a third way between staying at home and trying to figure it out and going to these nursing homes and just not figuring it out, and
Right.
that was assisted living. Now, assisted living started really in the early to mid 1990s. It came in earnest in the 2000s, even 2010, where things really started popping up. Between the early 90s and new millennium, you didn't see a lot of purpose-built assisted livings. You saw a lot of other buildings being repurposed as. So the very first assisted living that was built up in Rhode Island, for example, is an old church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and if you walk into the dining room now, you still see, this is a church.
You can have that feel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so a lot of that was, not purpose-built, but, buildings were pushed together, and, that same assisted living, it absorbed a doctor's office next door, and that
Oh, wow.
became some of the offices,
Okay.
and then some of the apartments, and got kind of funky. So in the early 2000s, a lot of these newer buildings started popping up, which were purpose-built to be assisted livings. And they have all of these fantastic amenities and all of that. So, but it's very new, and in that newness, it's totally understandable that people don't know what it is.
Right.
Because the people who are 80, 70 even, when they were helping their loved ones look for senior living back when they were in the sandwich generation, all there were those nursing homes. And
Right.
at that, those sanatorium-based nursing
Right.
homes. So I can't blame anyone for feeling like senior care equals that. That's all they knew. But that's why I challenge families and I encourage families to come with us and see what it is today.
Yes. Very different.
Very different.
Now, in assisted living, you have to supply your own furniture, right?
You do. There are some assisted livings that will, you can buy furniture from the assisted livings in some cases. But for the most part, people are encouraged to bring their own furniture.
But that's not a bad thing either, because.
Well, no, it makes it your home.
Yeah, it's still part
Yeah.
of your home.
Yeah. Especially for people who are living in a memory care environment, this can be actually crucial for those first couple of weeks. Because people, depending on their diagnosis and depending on how far they into their dementia journey, the confusion they have may be really profound. And so trying to adapt to a new environment in the best of times for any one of us, the elasticity that we have as we get older, especially your neuroplasticity and your elasticity, changes so much.
Right.
And it just degrades. So if you go into an entirely new environment, it can take you a day or two to figure out where you are and what you're doing. If you compound that with any sort of memory disease, it becomes just that much more difficult. And so having people bring their own furniture in and their own wall hangings and pictures of family and their favorite clothes and all of that, it can just really make a difference in how they acclimate to their new home.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes, I can understand that. You're keeping your environment right there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Things that are familiar,
that's right.
making it your own, and yeah.
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 How did you get into this business?
So, I actually fell into it completely by accident.
Oh.
Yeah. So I went to Suffolk University, and I was a political science major. And the conversation was, maybe I'll go to law school. And then the housing crash. And I was like, maybe I won't. Maybe I have to go to work now and kind of figure out what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I just knocked around for a little while trying to figure out what was my next step going to be.
Yeah.
And one day I was sitting in the parking lot of an assisted living waiting for my wife to get off shift. She was a certified nursing assistant at the time. And her boss comes and knocks on my door. And he goes, "Hey, you want a job?" I was like, "I think my parents warned me about people like you, mister. I don't know." And so I said, "What did you have in mind?" And he goes, "We need overnight security at an independent living
Oh.
up north from here." And I was like, "All right, sure. I'm about to go to grad school, and that'll give me some overnight shifts. Sure, I'll make some rounds and I'll do some homework, and that'll be great." And that's what I did. And then as I was there doing overnight security at this independent living, I also got asked from time to time to pick up some shifts covering for the front desk during the day.
Yeah.
And so I started to meet some of the residents and develop
fun.
conversations and got to know people and got to know a little bit more about the industry. And I fell in love with it. And from there, I went on to work at a traditional assisted living, and then I worked in memory care, and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
And I became an executive director. What really happened was, though, I was getting very discouraged by what I saw as a real emphasis on the commodification of people. And this is not a senior care problem necessarily. It's not unique to senior care. This is a problem of healthcare
Right.
writ large, where there's just too much of an emphasis on the dollar and not as much emphasis on the person.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was really grating on me. And it got to a point where a family would call me and be, "Hey, I need assisted living. I want to move to your assisted living."
Right.
And I said, "Well, fantastic. How can I help?" And they would tell me about their life and all that. And it would get to the point where they couldn't quite afford my building. And at that point, you're told to get them off the phone. And I didn't want to do that. I'm like, "Well, no, I'm I'm going
Want
to help.
follow through.
I'm going to help people find.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't help you here, but let me help you find this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's frowned upon, right?
started getting the focus calls. Hey, Paul, you're spending an awful lot of time with these families, and they're not moving in. What's going on? I'm like, well,
Where are they going?
no, they're going down the street. So after a couple of those conversations, I was like, you know what? So I took $20 and put it into a bank account. And I said, well, let's see how far I can get. So here I am, 7 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you said it's a franchise.
Well, so I started this company.
You started it.
Yeah, but-
Oh,
But now
okay. So you
you franchised it.
franchised
We're
it.
we're starting the franchising
Wow.
process. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you're starting. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So
Wow.
yeah.
That's
yes.
it. Well, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so our home office territory is Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
Okay.
We're not going to sell franchises in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Instead, we have 5 other concierges besides myself who are helping families throughout the region. And this is freeing me up to really focus
course.
this year on getting the franchising going.
Right.
And my hope is that if this is successful and we get franchises going nationwide, the folks I have as concierges now will be the trainers of future concierges, and
There you go.
we can build something really, really special here.
Yeah, that's
You're
exciting.
covering all of Massachusetts?
All of Massachusetts, yeah.
I can understand Rhode Island, that's quite a territory to cover.
It is. There's about 351 assisted livings in Massachusetts. Most of them are concentrated in Metro West, Bristol, and Norfolk
Right.
County, and in a little bit in Worcester County too. But we spend a lot of time in those counties. I do occasionally get calls for Western Mass,
Yeah.
Pittsfield, Springfield, those areas, and the Cape sometimes too. But the majority of where we work is in that big chunk of Massachusetts, from Worcester to Boston. Yeah, and then Rhode Island is Rhode Island. If you
Right.
sneeze loud on one side of Rhode
I was
Island, they can
gonna
hear you
say,
on the other.
That's a little bit easier to manage,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
cover. Yeah.
So yeah, but so that's
Wow.
us. That's
Okay.
that's the care
Do
concierge.
you have a number of
Excellent.
employees now?
So we got 5 concierges working with me now.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot. They all started in the last year, because the focus in 2025 was to grow the team.
Yes.
Because before that, I was covering Massachusetts and
say-
Rhode Island on my own.
Was it just you?
It was just me.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
That had to be quite the job, though, to get a hold of all those assisted living places, to line up a referral program with them.
Yep. It was a lot of work, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything, because, I learned a lot working in assisted livings.
Yes.
And then going in and learning about all these different companies and learning about these different buildings, these different programs, it was so eye-opening. And it was really affirming too, because I've met so many wonderful people. And, sometimes you can feel a little bit, when you're thinking about healthcare writ large, you can feel a little bit like, what is this industry?
Yep.
But then you go out and you meet the people who are actually providing the care and doing the things and making people's lives better. And this is an industry filled with wonderful people. And we are so lucky to be where we are and when we are, to have these people in our corner.
Right.
And, as much as I advocate for our clients, our potential residents, and our families, and we are fierce advocates, we are also very protective of the people we work with as our partners, because we know they're trying to do the right thing.
Of course.
And
Yep.
it's been such a gift to work with them. But yes, I was on my own, me and my poor car,
A lot of driving.
and a lot of driving, a lot of podcasts, between appointments. And so 2025 was all about growing the team. I'm very fortunate to have 5 wonderful people working with me as concierges. And now 2026, now that I just onboarded our last concierge, who's covering the Metro West Massachusetts area. And now that she is up and running, now the focus for 2026 is going to be getting the sales team for our franchise operations up and running and ready to roll.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is a growing part of the industry as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
With all the assisted livings out there and all of the
Yes.
families trying to figure things out, I mean, there are so many now senior living advisor organizations out there where there weren't before. And I take that, I mean, I think that's wonderful. I think that it shows the need,
Yes.
and it shows that families are seeing the value in what we do. And I do hope more families reach out. And if they don't reach out to me, that's okay. Reach out to somebody, because the
Exactly.
help is out there.
Don't go it
But
alone.
it's really somebody you need because it's such a confusing industry.
Yeah,
And you need someone that knows their way around it.
that's right.
We have a good friend, Russ,
Yes.
who's a Medicare advisor.
I know Russ Swallow very well.
Oh, you
Oh,
do.
okay.
I was on a call with him today.
Well, of course
Isn't that
you know
funny?
him.
Yeah, well,
Hi, Russ, if you're watching.
Russ, if you're seeing, hey, how you doing?
We miss you.
yes. The thing is, Russ is a big asset.
Yes.
Because Medicare is impossible to understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
And that's what you're doing here with assisted living.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you say, they're all different.
They're all different. They all have little idiosyncrasies, and some can be
Yeah.
so interesting. And there's history in each one of them. And I mean, even the way some of the assisted livings are laid out, and some of the questions we ask, are very important, because we want to know for our families, again, what's going to maximize your quality of life. So one of the questions we ask for each one of our families is, are you claustrophobic? Because we want to know if your loved one is claustrophobic, we are going to try and have them go to a place that offers ground floor apartments.
Yeah.
So they're not in an elevator at least 3 times a day. Is your loved one in a wheelchair? Okay.
Right.
Let's go and find an apartment that has thigh-level outlets. So your loved one is still going to be able to have that dignity of plugging in their things, and they don't need to call for help every time they need to plug something in, because they need to lean over the wheelchair and do
Yeah.
that, and it hurts their arm. So every place is a little bit different. Does a place have a generator for the apartments? If they do, we want to make sure your CPAP machine will work, or your white noise machine will work if there's an outage and you can still
Right.
sleep, or anything. I had a resident once who was on peritoneal dialysis in the assisted living.
Yeah,
So you really needed to make sure the
Absolutely.
generator was working.
yeah.
So, yeah. So it's
All the little questions that, like a family member would not even think of.
especially if they were in a hurry, especially if they were in a crisis.
That's right.
Don't, if you take nothing else today,
Yes.
folks, don't wait for the crisis.
That's right.
Give your
That's-
information on how to contact you.
Yeah.
You bet. So once again, my name is Paul Jones. I'm the owner of the Care Concierge Senior Living Advisors. Best way to reach out to us is to go through our website, www.thecareconcierges.com. You can also reach out to me personally, Paul, at thecareconcierges.com, or you can call us anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 401-488-4935.
All right. Thank you very
Excellent.
much for coming in.
Hey, thank you, folks. This was a lot of fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll have to have you back again. It was very
bet.
interesting.
Very
You bet.
impressive.
Anytime.
Yay.
All right.
Okay. Well, good night, Northbridge.